Hey everyone, this is Megan from Modern Moon Quilt Studio, and today I want to go over how to choose fabrics for your Happy Camper quilt. The Happy Camper quilt is written for two different colorways. We have a 5-color version as well as a 3-color version. So I'm going to actually be talking about how to strategize your fabric pulls for both of these combinations. The first color combo I want to go over are the fabrics that I pulled for the quilt that I'll be making for the quilt along. This kit, if you're interested, is going to be stocked by Pasadena Quilt Studio, and I will link that in the description below. So the fabrics we chose for this kit are all Art Gallery Fabrics Pure Solids, and the colors Evergreen, Spruce, Gingerbread, Chocolate, and Creme de la Creme. One of the really fun parts of this pattern is that illusion of transparency, or these overlapping colors. When you look at the pattern here, the 5-color version has the B and C fabrics that are forming the small and large squares, and then where those small and large squares intersect are going to be your A and D fabrics. So the way to create this illusion of transparency is kind of strategizing where those colors go. So let me show you how we do that. If you are going to make a Happy Camper with a light background like this one, or the one that I'm going to be doing for the quilt along, so this Creme de la Creme is going to be the background fabric, and these 4 other fabrics are going to make up the large and small squares that I was just talking about. What I suggest is to start with the small and large squares. And when building on top of a white background, pick your 2 lightest colors. So in this case, that's going to be this gingerbread and this spruce color. So let's pull those out. This is going to make up the small squares and the large squares. Now, where the 2 large squares overlap is where you're going to put your next darkest color. So we're going to pair that with the chocolate fabric, and that's going to create this illusion of the light orange overlapping with the light orange to create this dark orange. And we're going to do the same thing with this. So where the spruce overlaps with the light orange, which is the gingerbread, we're going to put this dark green in, this evergreen color. And that's going to give that effect, again, of transparency or the colors overlapping to create this really cool interplay. And I'm going to insert a screenshot of what that mock-up looks like using these colors. Now, what if we wanted to use these same colors, but on a dark background? Well, to do that, you're going to use the same strategy, but in reverse. Meaning, if we were to rearrange this, so let's say we wanted to do evergreen, our darkest color, as the background, and then use the remaining 4 colors to create the squares and the intersecting parts. What you're going to do is start with your 2 darkest colors, which in this case is going to be spruce and chocolate. These 2 darkest colors. And now where these colors intersect, we're going to choose the 2 lightest colors. So where chocolate intersects with the chocolate, we're going to do the gingerbread. And where the spruce intersects, we're going to use the creme de la creme. Now, let me insert a screenshot of what that mock-up looks like using the dark background. Now, the reason that we do that in reverse is because if we were to use the same strategy as we did with the light background, you're going to get more of a checkerboard effect rather than this illusion of the overlapping transparent colors. And just for fun, let me show you what that looks like, and you can see what I'm talking about when I say it looks more checkerboard rather than the overlapping effect. Okay, so let's play around with a few more colors, and I'll show you some other kits that are available as well. Pasadena Quilt Studio also has a kit available with these colors, with evergreen being the background, this dark color, and then the 4 other colors being this almost ombre effect with chocolate, sienna brick, toasty walnut, and creme de la creme. So we used evergreen as the background, and then we use these 2 darker colors, toasty walnut and chocolate, to create the large and the small squares. And then use sienna brick and creme de la creme to highlight the intersecting points. And it creates this really cool effect. And I absolutely love this quilt kit. This one is called Pasadena Chic from Pasadena Quilt Studio, and I will link that in the notes below. So this one is another quilt kit from Pasadena Quilt Studio, and she opted for another light background using creme de la creme, and then layered in the 2 darker colors with the gingerbread and this weathered brick, and then the intersecting points are the darker plum preserve and then the lighter vanilla custard. So this strays a little bit from what I was just describing, but still has this really pretty effect, and I just love this color combination. This quilt kit is called Sweet Harvest, and again, this is available from Pasadena Quilt Studio, and I will link that below. Okay, and let me show you another quilt kit. This one is going to be available from Pear Tree Market, and this one was actually inspired by one of the tester quilts, Sam over at SB Quilting Studio. Her fabric pull or this tester quilt actually featured a lot of prints, but these are some comparable solids that Pear Tree Market is going to be stocking in a quilt kit. For this version, we are using another light background, and this is going to be in the fabric coconut. The B and C fabrics are going to feature magnetism and this gentle feather, and then the intersecting points are going to be this sienna brick and smooth pebble. And I will go ahead and insert another screenshot of what that looks like because it is such a gorgeous color combination, and Sam did a fantastic job at this test quilt. Okay, let's talk about some 3-color versions. So this is going to use the same strategy, but just rather than using 4 colors, you're using 2 colors and a background. A similar kit will be stocked from Piper Autumn Fabrics, and this one uses a dark background featuring evergreen. And then the B and C fabrics, creating the small and large squares, is going to be using this spruce. And then the intersecting points are going to be a light color, I believe, in either creme de la creme or maybe coconut milk. But it's still going to create this really cool gradient, ombre, transparency type effect that we're going for. And I will go ahead and show you a screenshot of that. And just for fun, why don't we play around with one more 3-color version using a light background, this latte from Art Gallery Fabrics, sienna brick, and mink. So when we're using a light background, again, we want to create the large and small squares with the next lightest color, which is going to be this mink. And then we're going to plug in the intersecting points with the darker color, which is going to be the sienna brick. And let me show you what that looks like. Okay, everyone, I hope that helps you get a little bit of clarity when it comes to choosing fabrics for your Happy Camper quilt. There are obviously no hard and fast rules when it comes to quilting, and especially when it comes to fabric pulls. So do whatever you feel like is going to be a great color combination for this quilt. I just wanted to give you a few tips. Like I said, I know one of the really fun features of this quilt design is that overlapping effect, and sometimes it can be a little tricky to achieve that. So that's how I approach it and how I pull my fabrics when I'm picking fabrics for Happy Camper. But you do whatever you think looks beautiful. And please don't hesitate to share your fabric pulls on Instagram. Tag me at Modern Wind Quilt Studio. Make sure you use the hashtag HappyCamperQAL so I see them, and have fun.